Think back to April when Prime Minister Netanyahu came to Washington and basically got this message from President Trump, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Okay, then he made a deal with the Houthis that no protections for Israel. Then he made a deal that he was negotiating with Hamas without talking to Israel for the release of an American citizen. President Trump is America first, and he's doing what he thinks is an America first policy. And Israel is doing an Israel first policy. And I don't think it's only about the nuclear. I think that this is a new paradigm. This totally changes the equation. I think Israel is going after the Iranian regime. They're looking at what they did with Hezbollah. They're looking after what they did with Hamas. Iran has never been so weak, and they're using what they did there as a template. And as Jeremy said, they're trying to wipe out any attempt by Iran to rebuild its defenses. They're going after its command and control. They're going after, we just saw reports that the IRGC commander was killed. America's doing what it's got to do, and Israel's doing what it's got to do.
The thing is, what Israel's doing is against Trump's explicit goal for the Middle East. Going back prior to this election and since the election, he does not want war in the Middle East.
Yeah, he just wants no forever war.
He has a war in the Middle East.
Yeah, now.
It's happening before our eyes.
One of my sources tonight told me that the goal is to continue to attack Iran until it feels like this nuclear threat has been eliminated. And so that's a lofty goal. I mean,
they just said tonight this is the first stage. Are they going all the way? Are they going to go after the supreme leader?
What is all the way? I mean, what is all the way?
All the way is going after the supreme leader. I think everyone thinks that if you kill the supreme leader, it's like regime change. Ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead, and all Iranians rejoice.
And this goes to the idea that there are different ways to dismantle Iran's nuclear program, right? You can dismantle it by destroying the facilities, destroying the bombs that could carry them. You could also dismantle it by taking out the Iranian regime entirely.
But you just had President Trump in the region last week, or a couple of weeks ago, telling the Arab states, we don't need to be nation builders. We don't need to be regime changers. As Jim said, this is exactly what President Trump doesn't want. And, you know, the statements tonight were very measured. I'm wondering what the U.S., I mean, I know the Rubios and the Waltzes of the world are celebrating. How does President Trump feel about it?
It's interesting, Abby, when we reported 3 weeks ago that the U.S. assessed Israel was preparing to strike Iran, I spoke to lawmakers who had been briefed who said that there was concern that Israel might not just go for nuclear facilities, but might go for regime change. In other words, up the ante, go for a far more ambitious goal. And to Alex's point about the range of targets, that this very much looks like a regime decapitation operation. Leadership, nuclear sites, military installations, nuclear scientists.